Every sport has its trailblazers who left lasting impacts on the game. The NBA and basketball as a whole has significantly evolved on and off the court over the years thanks to a handful of players. Here are the 8 NBA players who changed basketball forever. Wilt Chamberlain. It's only right that we start with the guy who scored 100 points in a single NBA game. While that's the record he's most known for, Wilt has some others that will never be touched either. He once had 55 rebounds in a game and averaged 50.4 points per game over the course of an entire season. From the moment Chamberlain entered the league, he was an absolute cheat code. As a rookie, Wilt averaged 37.6 points and 27 rebounds per game. Over the course of his career, he averaged 30.1 points and 22.9 rebounds per game. Those are numbers you put up in NBA 2K My Career on the rookie setting, not in the actual NBA. Chamberlain had a combination of talent, athleticism, strength, and size that the league had never really seen before. As a result of his dominance, they had to rewrite the rulebook to give opposing teams a chance of slowing him down. Wilt's team would often inbound the ball from under the basket by just lobbing it over the backboard so he could leap over defenders and finish at the rim with ease. The NBA then outlawed this. Another one of his patented moves was throwing himself alley-oops while shooting free throws. Again, the league stepped in as they created a rule stating the shooter cannot cross the free throw line until the ball touches the rim. You may view those moves as gimmicks, but there was another change made as a result of Wilt's play in general. He was so unstoppable in the paint that the league widened the lane so Chamberlain would have less space to camp out down there. From his untouchable records to forcing the league to alter major aspects of the game, Wilt's impact on basketball was as large as his physical stature. Dirk Nowitzki. Arguably the greatest European player in league history, Dirk left quite the mark on basketball and the NBA. For starters, he was crucial in the league taking the next step in international growth and popularity. Having a superstar of his caliber from Europe made the league much more marketable in that area of the world. His individual success also made the path of going to the NBA instead of playing in the EuroLeague more attractive to top talent from Europe. Dirk's influence involved more than popularity, though. He also changed the way teams were constructed and how players played. Nowitzki was a 7-footer with a very smooth and highly effective jump shot. At the time, most big men couldn't shoot as well as he could. Dirk introduced the league to the concept of the stretch 4 or 5. He showed everyone the value of finding a big man who could step outside the paint and hit shots from deep. A player like that puts more stress on the defense and can really open up the floor for the rest of the offense. Today, having a jump shot is a crucial attribute for players of all sizes thanks to him. Also, we can't bring up Dirk and not mention his patented one-legged fadeaway. Like Kareem with the hook shot, the one-legged fadeaway will forever be synonymous with Dirk. LeBron James. Similar to MJ's case, because of course we can't mention LeBron without bringing up Michael, James could easily make an appearance on here as a result of his stellar play, but there's so much more to his story. First off, James was in the national spotlight from the age of 15 and proved that bold predictions about young high schoolers sometimes can come true. He set the standard for that and has led to so many kids being referred to or labeled as the next LeBron. After quickly taking over the league, LeBron turned it on its side with The Decision in 2010. By leaving the Cavs for the Heat, James showed everyone the tremendous amount of power players actually have. It didn't matter that Cleveland drafted him and he was from Ohio. LeBron was going to do what was best for him personally, so he left in free agency to form a super team with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh in Miami. He demonstrated how players have more control over where they play and who they play with than people had ever previously imagined. From then on, stars began using free agency or trade demands to either leave bad situations or create super teams elsewhere. LeBron also amplified the voices of so many of his fellow players through various platforms. He showed that they don't have to just shut up and dribble. They can and should use their status to speak out on issues they are passionate about. He'll certainly be remembered for challenging MJ for the GOAT status, but people will not forget the other ways he changed basketball as well. Steph Curry. As simple of a concept as it may seem, Steph demonstrated how important 3 points being worth more than 2 points is. Curry's 2012-13 season is what really put the league on notice and was the beginning of big things to come for him, his team, and the NBA as a whole. Steph shot 7.7 threes per game that season and was the only player in the league to average at least 7 attempts per game. Just last season, 28 players averaged more than 7 attempts per game. Curry's three-point shooting was the foundation of the Warriors dynasty and led to a complete shift in how the game was played. Teams had no hope of keeping up with Steph and Golden State if they traded twos for threes. They realized the significant value in taking shots just a bit further from the hoop to try to get that extra point. With other players who revolutionized the game, it usually involved some form of elite athleticism, but this was different. You didn't have to be 6'8" or able to jump out of the gym to be a good shooter, so players began specializing from behind the arc. There are now roles for guys in the league to just be great three-point shooters, like Joe Harris, Duncan Robinson, or Bryn Forbes. Julius Erving. When the NBA and ABA merged in 1976, Erving was instrumental in bringing a style of play to the NBA that would elevate the league to the next level. His flashy and high-flying game is applauded today, but it wasn't the norm back then. Dr. J was a significant change of pace from how NBA players typically played at the time. One of the greatest dunkers of all time, he captivated audiences with his ability to gracefully soar through the air. Erving was credited with inspiring the next generation of elite athletes in the league, such as Michael Jordan or Dominique Wilkins. He also provided the NBA with a coolness that the league desperately needed. People wanted to see more players who played above the rim like Erving. Dr. J was also much more than just an exciting act to watch. Erving scored over 30,000 points, grabbed more than 10,000 rebounds, recorded over 5,000 assists, racked up more than 2,000 steals, and nearly 2,000 blocks. Additionally, he was a 16-time All-Star and 4-time league MVP. Not only was his overall style iconic, but his game was too. Magic Johnson. In terms of carrying the NBA to its current form that we know and love, there may not be someone who played more of an integral role in the transition than Magic. Players who were 6'9" weren't supposed to be point guards or run fast breaks, and point guards weren't supposed to regularly post up. Good thing nobody told Magic Johnson any of this, or that he didn't listen if someone did. Johnson was the furthest thing from a traditional point guard in the 80s, but he became the face of the league and one of the most well-known dynasties in sports history with the Showtime Lakers. As Magic led his team to 5 titles in that decade, he did it in a never-before-seen manner. In addition to his unique size as a ball handler, his passing was unbelievable. Regardless of size, people were left speechless watching him play. It was a magical experience. If it wasn't for Johnson, we probably would not see guys like LeBron or Ben Simmons consistently handling the ball at their size. He showed everyone the lack of importance traditional positions should hold and led the charge in using players in ways that highlight their strengths, regardless of height. Michael Jordan. MJ being on the list is obviously a no-brainer, but he belongs here for more reasons than simply being one of the greatest, if not the greatest, basketball players of all time. He could be mentioned for winning 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, 10 scoring titles, and 5 league MVPs, but all sports fans know about the on-court excellence. What Jordan did off the court may be even more revolutionary than what he did on it. MJ capitalized off his fame by playing basketball in a whole new way. He demonstrated the ability athletes had to use their playing careers to launch and grow their own personal brands. Air Jordan and the Jordan brand quickly became one of the top brands, not only in sports, but also just in general. The Jumpman logo is just as recognizable as any other brand in the world. MJ completely changed the shoe industry and is responsible for young players signing these massive shoe deals now. It doesn't stop there though. Michael did plenty of additional endorsements with a wide range of companies such as Gatorade or Hanes. He made doing these commercials look cool and demonstrated how profitable doing stuff like that can be. Overall, Michael was an example of how star players can leverage their talents outside of the game of basketball. MJ definitely inspired his fair share of basketball players on the court, but he was just as impactful in showing them the power they can have off of it. Allen Iverson. People love debating whether or not LeBron or MJ is the GOAT, but the pound-for-pound GOAT has to be Iverson. Standing at 6 feet and only weighing 165 pounds, AI never let his size hold him back. He still managed to become one of the most dynamic scorers the game had ever witnessed. Iverson was fearless on the court and had the heart of a lion. With insane quickness and a killer crossover, he was nearly impossible to guard. The way he hesitated and changed speed with his crossover was a game changer. Most players had never used a move like that before and picked it up from watching Iverson. His play was not the only unforgettable part about him. The way AI carried himself off the court was just as unique. He had a different type of swagger to him. Iverson braided his hair, wore chains with oversized jerseys, and had tattoos. His style was truly one of a kind. While it inspired a lot of other players and the younger generation, not everyone was a fan of it, as the NBA put a dress code in place because of him. Iverson completely shifted the culture of the league with his style and is a main reason for why we see so many players today rocking headbands, shooting sleeves, and tattoos. What are your thoughts on this list? Did we include someone who doesn't belong or forget to mention somebody? Let us know in the comments section below.